Black beans are full of fiber, protein, and a rich flavor, making them the perfect choice when you're looking to cut down on your meat consumption and clean up your diet. And when you make them as the main star of a soup packed with veggies and spices, you'll be charging up your system with the vitamins and minerals you need to support heart health. While you may not always think of soup as a main course, recipe developer Sher Castellano emphasizes that beans are particularly filling, so you can feel confident serving this black bean soup as a main dish paired with a salad and tortillas. It takes just 40 minutes to make 4 cups worth, but you can easily double, or even triple, the recipe without adding much prep time to serve a crowd. And soups are one of those dishes that keep well and taste delicious when served as leftovers, so don't shy away from packing up a Tupperware container and heating up your leftovers for a quick and healthy lunch. Gather your ingredients to prepare this healthy black bean soup. Of course, the main ingredient in your black bean soup is black beans. But it's certainly not the only ingredient you need to make this heart-healthy soup. Back in 2018, VentureBeat published an article examining the average cost to develop and produce a video game, and how that figure is continually rising each year. Because of the money involved, when a developer or publisher cancels a game, you know there were probably some serious problems behind the scenes. Unfortunately, many studios get ahead of themselves. Sometimes a studio may announce a big title at an E3 or on Twitter, and the hype train is let loose. But what happens to that hype train when a game is canceled? In some cases, it sputters to a stop. Other times, fans are already quite excited and there is no easy way to slow down the train. Even years after a project is dead and gone, when there's no new information or teasers or concept art to leak, some fans cling to hope that maybe, just maybe, another studio will pick up the project. From long-running franchises to brand new IP, developers long to create the projects of their dreams. In addition to the 2 cans of black beans you'll want to dice up a small onion, and 1/2 cup each of celery, carrots, and red bell pepper. Then, hit up your spice rack to add minced garlic, ground cumin, coriander, crushed red pepper, sea salt, and black pepper to your soup. You'll also want a cup of low-sodium vegetable broth, apple cider vinegar, and olive oil. It may sound like a lot of things, but most of these items you likely already have on hand. Sometimes, unfortunately, either the funds fall through or the games are outright cancelled, robbing players never of the chance to enjoy them. Here are some of the many overhyped games that were never released. And if you're looking to cut down on prep time, consider picking up pre-minced garlic and pre-chopped veggies that are often available in the deli section of the grocery store. Sauté your veggies. It's important to sauté the veggies before you start your soup to ensure they're cooked and flavored well. The good news is, you don't have to dirty a separate pan. May you find something else to play in your spare time. Agent. Rockstar Games. With so many hugely popular franchises under the Rockstar Games umbrella, the idea of a new IP from the studio might sound both exciting and terrifying. We may never know how a new IP would have turned out. After announcing Agent in June 2009, Rockstar eventually ceased development on the spy thriller. According to Rockstar's description, Agent would have placed players in the shoes of a counterintelligence operative at the height of the Cold War. Simply heat up your olive oil in a large soup pot over medium-low heat. At its announcement, the team revealed their plans to release Agent exclusively on the PlayStation 3. On paper, the concept is stellar. At least, fans certainly thought so. A few years back, even after work on Agent went quiet, gamers were still excitedly talking about the title when a former developer leaked development screenshots. Add your onion, celery, carrots, and red bell pepper, and sauté them, stirring regularly, for roughly 5 minutes. Then, add the minced garlic, and continue sautéing for 5 more minutes. Sure, some folks wanted a new Red Dead Redemption at the time, and others had no clue what Agent was, but many were genuinely holding out hope. Although the studio continues to list Agent on its website, DualShockers reported in 2018 that Rockstar had abandoned the title and trademark altogether, making it even more unlikely that the game will ever truly exist. Perhaps it's not all bad, though. Some players speculate that the work done for Agent could end up benefiting Grand Theft Auto 6, whenever that releases. Deep down, Capcom. How do you feel about Dark Souls? Bloodborne? With their grueling difficulty, both titles exemplify the hardcore RPG experience. When Capcom announced Deep Down, their answer to From Software's unbelievably difficult RPGs, gamers were beyond excited. Not only will the ingredients in your pot look so colorful, but the aroma in your kitchen is going to be pretty yummy, so get excited. Add the seasonings and spices with your veggies nicely cooked, it's important to add the seasonings to the mix before you add the beans and the vegetable broth, giving the veggies even more flavor. Go ahead and add in the apple cider vinegar, which according to Castellano, helps develop the flavor when it's combined with the heat of the pan and the olive oil, the fat. Stir well. Then, add in the cumin, coriander, salt and pepper and cook for 1 minute. Add your beans and liquids to the pot with your veggies sautéed and seasoned. It's time to turn your dish into a soup. Turn up the heat on the stove to medium-high, and add the beans and broth. It's important that you don't drain the beans before adding them to the pot. The juice in the cans adds flavor and extra liquid for your soup. Over the last few years, the announcement video has racked up almost 1 million views total, with thousands of comments from excited fans. Sadly, those fans never got to experience the actual game. Following the game's announcement in 2013, Capcom went eerily quiet regarding its Souls-like game set in New York City. Stir your ingredients, mixing them well, and bring your soup to a boil. Once boiling, reduce the heat, and allow the soup to simmer, the flavors melding, for 15 minutes. Blend your black bean soup. Technically, at this point of the recipe, your soup is actually ready to serve and enjoy. But in its current state, you're looking at having a chunkier soup with whole beans intact, and it will be absolutely scrumptious. However, if you and your family would prefer a creamier version of black bean soup, you can use an immersion blender, or transfer to a separate blender, and blend the delicious soup that you just prepared. In 2019, in an interview with Eurogamer, producer Yoshinori Ono said, "It's not been completely given up on." Unfortunately, in 2020, Yoshinori Ono left Capcom and, without an experienced producer working on the project, Deep Down seemingly went dark once more. It's up to you just how creamy you'd like to make it. Castellano prefers a version that's a little bit chunky, but really it comes down to personal preference. So get to it, and make it your own. Plate, garnish, and enjoy this hearty meal with your soup prepared to your preferred consistency. All that's left to do is to serve it up. Get out your cutest soup bowls, scoop it up, and add your toppings and garnishes as desired. In fact, as of 2021, the trademark for Deep Down has officially been abandoned. It seems as though the gaming community will never get to play Deep Down, and many remain quite upset. Castellano suggests adding a spoonful of plain yogurt. Greek yogurt provides a particularly creamy flavor. Crushed red pepper, and cilantro. In addition, you could opt for crushed tortilla chips, a sprinkle of sharp cheddar cheese, diced onions, hot sauce, or sliced radishes for extra flavor. And don't forget to add a side salad to really round out your meal, along with some fresh dinner rolls and butter. You could also serve a basket of the tortilla chips in the center of your table. Folks over on Reddit still pine for Capcom's RPG, though it looks like it may never arrive. Scalebound, Platinum Games at E3 2014. Microsoft debuted an announcement trailer for Scalebound, which brought in thousands of views and hundreds of comments from players excitedly awaiting its release. Scalebound, an action role-playing game for Xbox One and PC, was in development at Platinum Games. This is going to be a great meal that all will enjoy, and the best part is, you can whip it up pretty quickly for dinner any time of the week. 1 tablespoon olive oil, 1 small yellow onion, finely diced 1/2 cup celery, finely diced 1/2 cup carrots, finely diced 1/2 cup red bell pepper, finely diced 2 tablespoons garlic, minced 1 tablespoon apple cider vinegar, 1 teaspoon ground cumin, 1/2 teaspoon ground coriander, 1/4 teaspoon crushed red pepper, 1 teaspoon fine sea salt, 1/4 teaspoon black pepper, 2 15-ounce cans black beans, not drained with liquid, 1 cup low-sodium vegetable broth, fresh cilantro, for topping sliced radishes, for topping yogurt, for topping hot sauce, for topping heat the olive oil in a large soup pot over medium-low heat. Add in the finely diced onion, celery, carrots, and red bell peppers, and sauté for 5 minutes. Then, add in the minced garlic, and sauté for 5 minutes more. Add in the apple cider vinegar, and stir. The title featured third-person gameplay, dragon companions, and a ton of customization options, like any good role-playing game. Then, add in the cumin, ground coriander, sea salt, and pepper, and cook for 1 minute. Turn the heat up to medium-high heat, and add in the black beans and broth.
Stir, and bring to a boil. Reduce heat, and simmer for 15 minutes. Blend the soup, leaving it slightly chunky, using an immersion blender, or blend it in a blender. Garnish with yogurt, crushed red pepper, and cilantro, and serve. For fans who wanted a hybrid RPG experience on their Xbox consoles, Scalebound appeared picture perfect. Then, like many other cancelled games, the studio went quiet. Speaking with IGN in 2017, a Microsoft representative confirmed that Scalebound, after careful deliberation at Microsoft, was cancelled. Instead, the publisher chose to focus its efforts and finances on games such as Crackdown 3, State of Decay 2, and Sea of Thieves. Speaking about Scalebound on Twitter, J.P. Kellums, former producer at Platinum Games, expressed sorrow and regret in having failed to deliver a worthwhile RPG to the community. Some fans commented on his Twitter thread, asking for information, and Kellums replied, "It is none of your business, really." Speculation as to why Scalebound was cancelled abounds. Unfortunately, the hype is gone. The game's subreddit has become nearly as quiet as the title itself. Rainbow Six Patriots, Ubisoft. With Ubisoft at the helm, the Rainbow Six series has offered tactical first-person shooter co-op action that fans adore. When the studio announced Rainbow Six Patriots in 2011, those same fans were rightfully excited. The debut trailer, which was still receiving new comments from interested fans years after its release, hinted at a more realistic and brutal type of game, with everyone's favorite squad of elite operatives going up against a socially motivated enemy. Ubisoft even went so far as to announce a release window of 2013, which, as you may have figured by now, never happened. Why? Well, as it turns out, the studio decided to ditch Rainbow Six Patriots and its controversially mature themes in favor of focusing on Rainbow Six Siege. The team wanted a next-gen experience for the new consoles, using destruction technology to change how players move through a map. It would appear that, despite the hype for Patriots, the studio made the correct business decision. Over on Steam, Rainbow Six Siege routinely enjoys thousands of players at any given time. Silent Hills Kojima Productions. Who doesn't love a good survival horror experience? Unfortunately, it has been quite some time since the last Silent Hill entry. Fans were ready, and so when Kojima Productions' Silent Hills was officially announced in 2012, the hype was definitely real. It was to be the 9th installment in the main series. This time around, Konami and Kojima Productions partnered with Norman Reedus as the lead actor for the project. Film director Guillermo del Toro was also on board, presumably to ensure the horror aspects of this new release were on point. However, in 2015, the game was officially cancelled. Before its cancellation, the studio released a demo on the PlayStation 4, dubbed PT, aka Playable Teaser. It was perhaps one of the scariest game demos ever released, and it helped to generate plenty of interest in the final product. Unfortunately, it was removed from the PlayStation Store following the game's cancellation. Fans miss the PT demo, even years after the full game's cancellation, but that might not be the end. There are rumors within the gaming industry that Silent Hills might one day be revived as a PlayStation 5 exclusive title. StarCraft Ghost Blizzard Entertainment. Way back in 2002, developer Nihilistic Software received the green light by Blizzard Entertainment to develop a brand new game set in the StarCraft universe. That title was a stealth action game called StarCraft Ghost. This was meant to be a unique experience, as fans basically only knew StarCraft from its real-time strategy iterations. Ghost was meant to feature complex combat, climbing maneuvers, and pilotable vehicles. Unfortunately, StarCraft Ghost never happened. The game toiled in development hell until 2014, when Blizzard officially confirmed the title was cancelled. So, what went wrong? Speaking with Polygon, Robert Hebner, of Nihilistic Software, revealed that Blizzard outright cancelled the game because it was felt that the new installment wasn't up to snuff. The publisher had allegedly demanded new features and experimentation, rather than a finely tuned and focused game. Pairing that with inconsistent feedback from higher-ups led to Ghost's untimely end. Unfortunately for fans, Blizzard moved on. But for those players who were excited for the game, moving on wasn't quite so simple. Many fans, some of whom managed to play StarCraft Ghosts at BlizzCon 2005, took to the internet to share stories and their dashed hopes for the game. People still want StarCraft Ghost, even today, but it will probably never see the light of day.
Star Wars 1313. LucasArts. Following the purchase of the Star Wars IP by Disney, the franchise has continued to grow in popularity worldwide. That is, at least, when it comes to movies. What about the video games? While EA worked on improving Star Wars Battlefront 2, many fans clamored for more focused single-player experiences. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order would eventually deliver that, but Star Wars 1313 was meant to do it first. The game would have featured fluid motion capture, character-driven experiences, and a ton of lore faithful to the franchise. An E3 demo from 2013 has racked up over 3 million views and nearly 8,000 comments, with more arriving by the day. On paper, Star Wars 1313 was the perfect single-player Star Wars game. So, what happened? After acquiring LucasArts, Disney almost immediately shut down the game division of the studio, laying off 150 employees and canceling both 1313 and Star Wars: First Assault. In 2013, a LucasArts rep told Game Informer that they hoped Star Wars 1313 would see a second life on next-gen consoles, but that unfortunately never came to pass. Mega Man Universe. Capcom. In July 2010, to much fanfare from the community, Mega Man Universe was revealed to the world, and the announcement trailer alone brought in hundreds of comments from nearly 200,000 viewers. Mega Man is a franchise with a strong cult following, dating back to the first game on the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1987. Past titles were simple platformers, in which the player moves from the left side of the map to the rightmost side of the map, with enemies and the occasional boss in between. Mega Man Universe promised more of the same beloved gameplay, with classic levels updated for the modern era, and your choice of character from a broad selection. To the retro gamer, Mega Man Universe sounds perfect. It was to be a refreshing take on a beloved franchise. So, why did Capcom cancel and abandon the game entirely? The folks at Kotaku believe it's because Keiji Inafune, the series creator, left the studio. Unfortunately for the curious among you, Capcom is mum on why it cancelled your favorite Blue Armored Fighter's big return. The only reasoning Capcom gave was to vaguely blame the cancellation on various circumstances. Fez 2 Polytron over on Steam, the original Fez, from developer Polytron and creator Phil Fish, sits comfortably at a very positive rating with almost 10,000 unique reviews. It's an indie game success story, which is why Mr. Fish featured prominently in Indie Game, the movie. A follow-up made complete sense, what with the success of the first game. So, why did a second game never launch? It was certainly hyped up. What with an announcement trailer that netted thousands of views, and all for an indie game. In an episode of Invisible Walls, GameTrailers.com's Marcus Beer openly criticized Phil Fish. Beer claimed Fish did not deserve the recognition and fame he received within the indie game community. Fish, obviously, was unhappy with Beer's comments. At the time, he angrily lashed out on Twitter, claiming Fez 2 was officially cancelled and that he was quitting game development. Later on, in early 2015, reports surfaced alleging that Fish significantly stole from indie hit titles such as Dyad and N++. Hate him or love him, Fish was working on an indie follow-up that folks still yearn for. Even over on the Steam forums, where activity is usually focused on solving bugs or begging for free games, players discussed Fez 2, with some announcing their love for the game and hope for a second release. Timesplitters 4 free radical design Timesplitters held a special place in many fans' hearts. It was a goofy, over-the-top first-person shooter, complete with firearm-wielding monkeys, mad scientists, and other wacky, zany features, characters, and maps to explore. The third game, Timesplitters: Future Perfect, launched in 2005 for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox. Fans fully expected a fourth game, with some calling for a Kickstarter to help fund the sequel. The thing is, publishers actually weren't too keen on Timesplitters 4. In an interview with Eurogamer, an ex-developer explained that Free Radical's failed shooter, Haze, tainted the studio's reputation, along with a changing landscape in the gaming industry, making it harder to sell a Timesplitters-like game to the masses. A lot of work went into the fourth game before its untimely demise. Concept art for the game eventually leaked online, revealing new characters who would have been joining the series. Of course, this tease meant that folks had to remember the pain of yet another abandoned video game. People want Timesplitters 4, even today. Fable Legends. Lionhead Studios. In 2013, Microsoft and Lionhead Studios announced the latest entry in the famed Fable franchise.
Fable Legends, exclusive to the Xbox One, was meant to be a cooperative entry in the long-running role-playing series. A much-anticipated way to finally enjoy the shenanigans of the Fable world while bringing a partner along for some laughs. Peter Molyneux, the creator of Fable, led development on past games. He handled game design, public relations, and many other tasks at Lionhead Studios. When Molyneux left the studio, Microsoft took over the reins and requested a new role-playing game set in Molyneux's world, albeit with new concepts and a focus on a games-as-a-service model. Thus Fable Legends was conceived as the fourth entry in the series. So, with over 1,000 comments from both excited and wary fans on the E3 gameplay demo, how come Fable Legends never came out? For a few reasons, it turns out. Fable Legends was built using Unreal Engine 4, which wasn't quite ready for use at the time. Furthermore, reports claim the studio hired a competitive multiplayer expert, who advised numerous changes, all of which the studio ignored. The game's budget ballooned to $75 million before Microsoft gave it the axe. Insane. Volition. Anyone who loves the horror genre will likely know the name Guillermo del Toro, whose work includes the likes of Mimic, Blade 2, and the original Hellboy. In partnering with developer Volition and publisher THQ, Guillermo del Toro sought entry into the world of video games with Insane. The announcement trailer, released in 2010 at the Spike Video Game Awards, promised a new terror, and fans were notably excited for more survival horror greatness. It's unfortunate, but Insane never escaped development. In 2012, publisher THQ announced the game was officially cancelled, and the intellectual property rights were transferred to del Toro. Theoretically speaking, with the rights in his possession, Guillermo could choose to finish the game one day. For that, however, he would need to find a development studio, publisher, and funding. The world may know very little about Insane, but judging from the comments on the announcement trailer, folks were excited. If del Toro were to announce the upcoming release of Insane on, say, the PlayStation 5, folks would probably jump at the chance to play a brand new survival horror experience. Project Titan. Blizzard Entertainment. There are an estimated 5 million players enjoying World of Warcraft each month, so it's safe to say that Blizzard Entertainment is king of the MMORPG. When the studio announced yet another MMO, this one dubbed Project Titan, people were both excited and hopeful for a new generation of MMO gaming. The studio put some serious work into the project, spending 7 years developing this next-gen MMO. When the news came about that Blizzard was officially cancelling their MMO project, the world sat aghast. So much money and time, all gone down the drain, why? Speaking to Polygon on the topic, Blizzard's Chris Metzen called the game's cancellation excruciating. CEO Mike Morhaime agreed with the sentiment, saying, "It's always really hard to make those kinds of decisions. But it has always resulted in better quality work. With the continued success of World of Warcraft, perhaps Blizzard Entertainment will once again take a crack at creating a brand new MMORPG. Only time will tell."